Welcome to the Game Deflators Podcast, episode 23. My name is John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody. Here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and James.
The fuck are you kids doing on my lawn? Get the hell out of here.
We're going to talk about them this week?
Well, we like to talk with James and hear his opinions on the ever-loved, the sorely missed while we had to do that bullshit the other week. But we're back with the inflation-deflation challenge, folks.
Yeah, 1 week hiatus. That's a first. We haven't done that recently. And FYI, if you're listening, and this is post-recording, we might have an echo because my game room is in the process of being moved currently.
To someone else's bank accounts.
To someone. Yeah, right. That's just about correct. Yeah, there's a lot of money gone right now.
The walls in here got too small. They couldn't hold all the N64s John hasn't been able to sell.
I don't sell my N64s. That's why there's 6 sitting there. Well, they're in totes right now.
I'm currently sitting on a beanbag chair that's actually filled with GameCube controllers.
Exactly.
That actually would be a pretty accurate statement. I think I forgot about 24 GameCube controllers in the house.
And an uncomfortable chair.
And an uncomfortable chair. That is correct.
And the biggest Melee LAN party you've ever seen.
8 people.
Interesting enough, Ryan earlier just got a glance at my game collection, which is still currently packed up.
In totes.
In totes. He actually got to lift one of the totes and the weight of all my years of collecting.
It was heavy, folks. It was heavy.
Oh, yeah. It pretty much is.
It's very impressive. I'd like to see it once it's all unpacked.
Where are we at? Because I think yours is pretty much equal to mine, right, in terms of total games?
Total games, controllers, etc. You have surpassed me. However, I still have the standing that I collect a smaller variety than you do. Like, I don't do Atari or Dreamcast anymore, for that matter. So although you have more number-wise, I would say my collection's bigger. Like, I could definitely trump you as far as NES, SNES, maybe N64. I'm not sure if you have more N64 games.
I know I got you beat on Sega consoles and Sega games for sure.
Consoles, yeah, because you got a Model 1 Sega CD, and I'll trade yours back to you for that Model 1 if you want.
I have a Model 2 as well.
Yeah, but my Model 2 works.
So does mine. And my Model 1.
Your Model 1 does not work. You were asking me the other day how to fix it.
I was asking you how to make sure that we can get the disc tray to pop out. That's a pretty simple fix, I think.
And I've repeated it to you over and over and over. You don't listen.
Well, you should help me. So, let's...
No.
Yes. So, as we do with every week, did anybody have pickups this week? I was out of town for, I guess, 5 days, so I haven't been able to pick up anything.
Ryan, has the Switch had any sales this week or last week?
Any dollar sales? 50 cents?
You know,
penny?
I haven't been browsing on the Switch marketplace. We're all kind of in the midst of big life events, and I have not had the time or energy to pick up anything on my Switch except for more Cave Blazers.
Yeah, Ryan is officially going to be no longer single, technically. I mean, technically you're not single now, but it's going to be official.
I'm already married, but now we're having the ceremony. So that's where all of my energy and money is going these days.
I forgot that you guys were technically married already.
It's purely for tax purposes, for folks.
No,
he and I
insurance
aren't really
reasons. It was literally I married my wife for the insurance.
I was going to be the husband.
You're now on the internet saying that. I hope you know.
Hey, I'll tell anybody, man. Hey, if you have a cool lady out there that you love and she has better insurance than you marry her.
Especially if she listens to the podcast here you're in.
Yeah, that's true. Does she listen to the podcast?
Sometimes when I make her.
That doesn't
Hashtag earmuffs.
Hashtag earmuffs. Hashtag that's not a hug.
All right, Ryan. So what is new in the world of video game news?
Well, there's been a ton of stuff going out there lately.
Hold on. We didn't talk about what we're currently playing.
Oh, that's right. We almost glossed right over it. You said pickups and what
Here
we're
on
playing.
the Game Deflators Podcast, we also like to talk about games we're currently playing, which for me is still more Cave Blazers. I've been blazing those caves, and I've been blazing them hard.
And he blazes in general.
I was going to say that really does sound like gay innuendo. I'm just saying.
Well, no, it's a super fun game. I'm so head over heels addicted to this game. I haven't played a game this much since I played Asura, not Asura's Wrath for PS3, but Asuro that was another Steam game that launched, and I played so much of that a few years ago. It's the only game that I've ever actually gotten on the leaderboards for. I was in the top 5 for fastest time and highest points for a while when I was playing it. I absolutely love that game, and these games are super similar. One's basically a side-scrolling version of the other as far as the itemization and the systems that are involved in the game. They're very similar, and I'm just so hooked into this. Like, I've tried to pick up and play other things, and I just keep coming right back to this. I have been looking into... I heard some people talking about... have you guys ever played Advance Wars?
Yes.
So there's a new spiritual successor to Advance Wars out on Switch.
Called Red Alert. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's called War Groove.
Oh.
And it looks pretty interesting. I've been thinking about picking that up maybe, but I did actually get a new pickup right here tonight, folks, right before the podcast. We'll get into it a little bit more later, but James finally got me Resident Evil for PS1, so I'll be able to delve into that a little bit and make some comparisons between that and Resi 2 Remake.
That's cool, man. So actually, I've been playing... Well, I will be playing again Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Out of town, obviously, for the last week, so haven't really had an opportunity to get back into some gaming. And we are in the process of moving into our new house, so of course, all my video games are packed up at the very moment. James, you got anything this week, man?
Actually, yes. I actually went into a store called Bookman's here for the first time, which is...
Shh, don't tell the people about our stores.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to make everyone around the rest of the country a little bit jealous. Bookman's, although it is definitely a bit of a hipster shop, it's pretty interesting. I would say I would call it more of an upscale recycling shop. What you do is you go in there, trade in your old books, records, video games, electronics, things like that, and they turn on and resell them. And they had a surprising variety of video games. I actually saw some cool stuff in there. They actually had the original Castlevania on... believe it was a Commodore or Amiga PCX, one of the old PC gaming consoles, complete in box. They had a nice variety of NES games, things like that. The main thing that actually caught my attention is their pricing was not... honestly, their pricing wasn't bullshit. Almost pretty much everything was priced as if someone sitting in the back looking on price charting that day and saying, oh, this is $10.75 right now, throw a $9.99 tag on it. Almost everything in there was priced accordingly. So,
see, I've often wondered about that. I live right next to a Bookman's, so every time I go in there, I go and look around, and I'm like, I see what's in the case, and everything that you see in the case is kind of what you would expect to see. But I'm not familiar enough, and I haven't really been in there with price charting in mind and actually browsing to see where they're at. But that might actually be something worth checking out just to see if I can maybe find some kind of deal or something.
Well, James and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure he's pretty close to it as well. He and I have this like thing where we walk into a game store and we can literally see like the price points on everything as we walk in.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were actually, it was funny, we were watching...
Negative 20% for me.
What's that?
I automatically subtract 20% or 30% off every price I know is in my head because I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah, exactly. So
I refuse to pay your newfangled prices. Screw you and the inflation.
Back in my day, you could get that for a shiny nickel.
That's about
That's right. $5.
So,
Everything was $5.
We were actually watching like this documentary show the other day on like guys going out like buying old Western stuff, and they had like in certain scenes it'd just be like $100, $50, and my wife looks over at us and goes, "Is this how you both are at video game stores?" I'm like, "Yes, exactly so. Like that. That's exactly what happens. Dollar signs everywhere."
Let me pause to give a shout out to the old school collectors. Our comments, whatever, let me hear from our $5 people, the folks that have been around long enough they remember when everything was just $5. Oh, that Super Mario Bros. 3, $5. That little Samson, $5. Everything was $5 when I started. Yeah. And I blame all of you.
Well, I mean, I was
especially John.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I blame John especially.
I single-handedly depleted James's ability to purchase games in our old city.
He didn't deplete my ability to do so. I just chose not to do so. And that is actually my own fault because when John and I became friends, I kind of took him around and showed him the ropes. I did not know it would turn John into a monster.
1,500 games later. Actually, when we first met, I was looking around at flea markets for Magic the Gathering cards, and then occasionally I'd pick up a game or so, but I wasn't really looking into games. And what really got me, and you're always going to hate this, is when you came in and you're like, look, I got this $50 Tomba for $2. I'm like, really? I need to get back into game collecting. That's what screwed you. That exact moment.
Yes.
See,
I don't think I've ever heard the thank you moment from you to me for when I was in a certain popular thrift store where we came from, and I was like, oh, look, Saturn games. Well, zippity fucking doodah. I don't collect Saturn.
No, sir. Those I found on my own. 100%.
You came in the store after me. I could have easily bought those up just to turn around and resell them, and I chose not to.
Potentially. But I still have that Saturn Bomberman for $3 in my collection with the price tag.
Yeah, I still have my $5 Mega Man Legends 2, among other things.
Also beautiful. Yeah. So James and I can reminisce on these things. Ryan, what'd you pick up for 50 cents this week?
Actually, I did pick up a game this week. I remembered.
Went back, and he actually remembered he got a game.
Was it an extra copy of Cape Blazers for the rest of us?
No. So I know I talked about this. I think it was the last time, or it might have been the time before. Chrono.gg, folks. It's a great service. Hashtag not a sponsor, could be a sponsor. But it's a great website. You log on to it every day. They have a different game available. You click the little coin icon. You get coins. Those coins go into your coin purse, and then you can buy games with your coins from your coin purse.
Say coin purse one more time.
Coin purse.
James and I just gave each other the weirdest look when you kept saying coin purse.
Yep. So last week they had a game that I've been hearing about forever.
Coin purse.
It's Tyranny. I think it's Tyranny in the Words of Power or something like that.
Tyranny of the Coin Purse?
Tyranny of the Coin Purse. But it's a really cool isometric RPG that really gets into your head about morality and stuff. And I've seen a video many times by my favorite YouTuber, Noah Caldwell-Gervais. He also just released a bunch of new videos. Check him out. Support him. He's awesome. He has a great video on this game, and I think that I'm actually going to use this game as what I play on the plane ride to Japan for the honeymoon, because I've never really been one for classic isometric RPGs, and I think that if I'm going to get into one, maybe this is a good way to start, being locked in a steel tube flying over the ocean for 12 hours.
If you don't get me a Donkey Kong item from Japan and James vending machine panties, we're going to be very disappointed with you.
You can't see the disgusted look I'm giving John. What he meant was a Legend of Zelda item.
Yeah, that's what I meant, actually. Yeah.
See, John's trying to bury the lead here. He knows what he wants. He's just too afraid to ask.
Bingo. That's pretty awesome. I think that's a great starting point for you. Not to mention, I think Transistor is actually on the Switch, or was ported to it, or is going to.
Oh
be.
yeah. I bought Transistor when it came out on the Switch because I love that studio. Was it Giant Bomb?
I don't remember. I just know Transistor was one of the better RPGs to come out about 2016, 2017.
Yeah, Transistor was awesome.
And I believe it also had the isometric view. So that was your pickup for this week?
Yeah.
Not a bad one?
Yeah, I picked that
With a
up
coin purse?
for, I think it was like $7 or $8 or something.
Whoa. Hold on here. I'm sorry. You paid how much?
Like $7 or $8.
Whoa.
Where'd you get that money, Ryan?
For my job.
No. You're supposed to. Correct answer was coin purse.
No. But when I went there, I did spin the coin and added more coins to my coin purse.
Sorry, this is just killing me.
You heard it here first, folks. He spent more than $1 on a game.
Oh yeah.
Come the end of the year, he might actually finish one. Me too, for that matter, but still.
Oh man.
All right.
Hashtag me too.
So I did actually pick up a game while I was at Bookman's. Because honestly, I had never seen it before, and I am a Marvel Comics fan, so I'm kind of a sucker. It is The Incredible Hulk, the Pantheon Saga on PlayStation 1. And, wow, I'm definitely never, ever going to say it was worth the $10 I paid for it, other than it just being a cool, uncommon piece, because the best way I could describe it that will make sense to most folks that have never played it, it plays like one of those early PS1 games where they had no idea what they were doing, and they were just trying to crank out any kind of intellectual property they thought they could make a buck off of. that's exactly how it plays. And it will be later a crappy game challenge for y'all.
So
Wait, how much did you get it for?
He said $10.
$10 at the time. It was like $10.78 at price starting that day. I think it's gone down.
It's at $9.47 complete, $6.24 loose.
James, don't play the stock market.
But the PAL version's like way up there. PAL loose is $26.20.
Everyone knows Europe is not a real country. That doesn't count.
So 2 things here. First off, I think it's funny that we circled all the way back around from what we're currently playing to, oh, wait, we had pickups this week. The other thing is you mentioned Crappy Game Challenge, and this kind of bridges into what we're currently playing. You got to enjoy a little bit of Wu-Tang.
Oh, yes.
Pow!
Oh, man.
The best thing I can say about Wu-Tang Shellin style,
It's the music. It's absolutely the music.
Oh, fuck it.
The gameplay. It was the gameplay.
Actually, I would say
The graphics.
The
It's the graphics.
It was the graphics. They were fantastic.
Yes, the most enjoyable part of that game is when we were trying to play it in John's PS3 and all the cutscenes kept skipping terribly. I found that far more entertaining than actually playing this god-awful pile of garbage. And I'm not just saying that because it's a rap game or anything like that. I can accept that the story and the plot isn't made to be taken too seriously, but the controls are god-awful. The gameplay is awkward as fuck. Everything is slow. The input's terrible. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time.
But yet you get fatalities at the end, so it's kind of rewarding.
Yeah, there are some super cheesy, over-the-top fatalities, which are kind of automatic. You don't have to do anything. You just beat your opponent. And that part was kind of cool. But yeah, that was... That was pretty good. I'm gonna have to get you back for that. But since
I played it with him though,
so you guys enjoyed it, and we enjoyed our crappy game challenge. I feel like we really need to stink up this challenge.
No, sir. You and I actually legitimately enjoyed our crappy game challenge. He was dreading every moment. I have recordings of him going, "Oh fuck you," just the entire time. It was great.
Oh, it was bad. But
dude, what was interesting is that it would not play on the PS3, and we popped it into my PS2, and it played no problem. So that was actually something I found online. They're like, yeah, that game for whatever reason doesn't play on a PS3.
Yeah. So since John and Ryan took it in stride pretty well at their last crappy game challenge, I actually picked them a good game to play this time, which was
For the games you might not have played?
No. We haven't got to that yet. We were still talking about, as your reward for the crappy game challenge, I actually picked out Dynamite Cop on the Dreamcast.
Dynamite Cop.
Well, we're skipping around here now. I guess we're going to close the news this week. So,
well, no, we've got some news to get into.
Format.
Okay, so here we'll reset and re-go.
We just fucked this podcast all up, folks. Bear with us.
Reset and re-go are the same thing, Ryan.
All right, so in news this week, we've got lots of interesting news. Some of this stuff has been covered a lot by sources that I've seen. One of those things in particular is all the debacle going on over at EA. So anybody who hasn't heard or doesn't know, there has been new record-breaking profits for EA off the backs of last year.
Oh boy, Ryan, does that mean they're hiring more people now?
No, but it means a lot of other people are going to be, because EA just laid off 900 employees, despite the fact that they had record-breaking profits this year.
I'm thinking those record-breaking profits were them saying, we're going to have record-breaking profits, but let's lay off 900 people first.
This is what happens when you don't buy your loot boxes, kids. All these people are out of work now.
This is what happens when you do buy your loot boxes, kids. They've made so much money off of loot boxes and season passes and online content and all this stuff, and they're chasing this crazy dream of infinite money. But really what it comes down to is the fact that Call of Duty undersold this year, or Battlefield undersold this year. I'm pretty sure it's Battlefield.
Ryan, is racist 13-year-olds that want to sleep with your mom are like growing up now.
Well, it's just that, you know, Jim Sterling goes over this really well in his videos that I've seen, and he breaks it down in a much more economical and, you know, fuck the AAA industry like he always does. But really it comes down to just the fact that, like, greedy corporate assholes being driven by people outside of the gaming industry and being hired in for millions of dollars are making all these decisions purely in the pursuit of profits, and their games are really starting to suffer. And we can kind of see this with the reaction to Anthem versus the reaction to what's that?
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends came out, and it was a monster hit. Anthem's coming out, and people are kind of wary of it. And then, if anybody wasn't aware, Crackdown 3 came out.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Anthem also an EA title?
All three of those are EA.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, basically because of Apex Legends, Crackdown 3 and Anthem just kind of just wisp under the radar. Like, I literally just noticed earlier that I was seeing reviews for Anthem already, and we both said, whoa, that's already out already. But I
didn't
also
even know
have
it
to
was
say,
out yet.
yeah, it may not be till next week. It might be a preliminary review.
There is a silver lining in all of this, though. Fortnite may be disappearing sooner rather than later because of this.
That's rather unfortunate because I do have to, again, throwing back to last week, agree with that one fellow who realized that all the damn kids are playing Fortnite, which sure they'll play playing Apex Legends, but
Yeah, they'll move over to that. It's a trendy thing. It used to be Minecraft, then it was Fortnite, and now it's Apex Legends. Oh, and what is it? Project Battlegrounds or something like that?
oh, Player Unknown, yeah. Well, Player Unknown was always more trendy among the adults, but getting back on subject, I was actually going to say that is actually very well said, Ryan, what you were saying about EA and their plans for the future, which I've suspected for a while that their plans for the future, and this will be a little bit out of left field, but I think it will be more accurate as time goes on, that EA makes most of their money off their sports games and things like that. They also realize that for the most part, they could either release a new game every year or they can just release patches and updates and start charging people for them.
Okay, so Anthem isn't out until the 22nd.
You
Okay,
lied,
so that was
sir.
a review copy I was seeing.
It'll be
mentioned on.
out by the time this comes out. I think most of what we were seeing was from the blowback of the demo that they released last week.
Oh, I gotcha.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't have an Xbox One, so I'm not getting it anyways.
I thought it was multi-plat.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be PC. At the very least, I can play it
I
on
guess
PC.
we just don't know what we're talking about. Hey, welcome to the Game Deflators, where we talk about old games.
Well, or
Or shit
Ryan
we don't
just
know
gives us
about.
misinformation and fake news,
He is the news guy.
and now we can use that hashtag. We'll be trending sooner or later.
I was saying, in addition to the loot boxes and things like that, EA, if they haven't already started implementing it, realizes they can just start
Is multi-platform.
Killing
implementing.
me, Ryan.
You motherfuckers done?
No.
Yes. No.
Coin purse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, they can start implementing the likenesses of previous athletes, updating seasons and roster stats, things like that, and fucking charge for it. If they haven't started doing that already, I can guarantee you that will be down the road. And the fact that they're willing to lay off so many developers and employees is most likely because they know that majority of their games are being played online, and that's pardon me, all they have to do is maintain that so they can outsource it to cheaper out-of-house sources and continue to make their money.
Well, and the scary part about all this, kind of wrapping it together, is that EA has a habit of, buying up other developers and bringing them into the fold, and then those things going away. And BioWare, if Anthem isn't super successful, I love BioWare games. I don't want to see BioWare go away. It doesn't mean that those people, if they end up getting laid off or, enveloped into other teams and development studios and stuff, the talent will still be there, but, you lose so many things. It would really be a shame to lose BioWare as a company.
And honestly, this is one of the reasons that I like supporting a company like Sony, because they have so many AAA games that come out on their own developer, from their own developers. And just over the years, I've come to that's really one of the reasons why I've stuck with them and Nintendo over somebody like Microsoft, because Microsoft, to the same extent as EA, will buy up a company, pretty much wipe out everybody, release crap games, and they're like, well, that wasn't successful.
Well, look what
I
they
wonder
did to
why.
poor Rare.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you look at something like that, and that's the reason I don't support Microsoft. Same reason I don't support any EA games outside of Madden. And Madden, you really can't screw up at this point.
What also, I would say in a similar vein, what also gets me now to think about it is all these big development companies or game companies that have these huge AAA franchises or even other projects that are guaranteed moneymakers, and someone comes along in the company and says, wow, we see you're halfway through the development of this and most of the voice acting's done and everything, but we don't think it's going to make us $1 billion. Let's pull the plug. Konami, Square Enix is infamous for this. God, Konami especially, like, yanking the plug on Silent Hill or, PT. Square Enix, just off the top of my head, let's see, for instance, Legacy of Kain Dark Sun. If you're a fan of the Legacy of Kain series, Google it. They actually have fully rendered footage from the game and the gameplay, and that game did look like it was going to be fan-fucking-tastic. And they just
there's
yanked it.
loads of games out there that get axed way too soon for us. Like we get a little taste, and then it disappears, and it just kind of leaves that bad taste in your mouth. Like what could have been.
It really does. Konami especially. I mean, Castlevania, the Silent Hill series. What else? I mean, Jesus. Metal Gear, well, which of course they lost Hideo Kojima, so they're kind of SOL on that.
Yeah, and then God knows what he's doing nowadays. Not even Norman Reedus knows what he's gotten into.
I don't even think Guillermo del Toro has a clue what the fuck's going on at this point.
I don't think anybody's communicating on that game.
I don't think they really are. I think Hideo Kojima probably just sits in a dark room somewhere, chiefing on a fucking blunt with an English dictionary, and he just cranks out some random shit to other people, and they try to figure out what the fuck he means and make it into a game for him.
And then it works. That's a sad thing.
It really does, man.
That's
I
what
love
having Kingdom Hearts too, isn't it?
What, Kingdom Hearts?
Hideo
yeah,
Kojima and what's his name in a closet just chiefing it up.
Yeah, that sounds about right, man.
What's his name?
Okay,
jeez.
So
Next.
in other news this week, I guess one of the biggest things that we should probably talk about is the Nintendo Direct came out a few days ago, and that had all kinds of goodies inside of it. But I think what we're going to focus on mostly here is going to be The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Wait, before we start, can we get a Nintendo PAL?
Nintendo POW?
No.
Nintendo
Oh, come on.
Pow!
Nintendo POW!
There you go. Put your coin purse into it.
Jesus, man.
Of course, there's going to be the question of, do we think it's worth $60? And I'm sure we have varying opinions.
Yeah, that's the article I have pulled up here on Nintendo Life by Gavin Lane. Is
Hashtag
the
shout out,
remake of Zelda Link's Awakening worth $60? And to prime this conversation for you collectors out there, we're going to kind of bring this in a little bit. So, amazingly enough, Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, complete in box, $61.92, is a complete in box original version of the game for Game Boy worth the price of the full new release of the remake? Fight!
Well,
Okay. Well, hold on. I got one for Ryan before we even start.
All right.
First off, sir, are you quoting us the original or Link's Awakening DX?
No, the original for Game Boy.
$60.
$60 complete in box, $61.92.
well, as somebody that
Loose,
doesn't
$19.99.
as somebody that doesn't collect Game Boy games complete, what is it going for loose again?
Yep.
$19.99.
That's what I'll pay for it.
$20. I already have it and the DX version, and yes, $20 loose. $60 complete in box. For either one, original.
Cool. Okay, so just to give some perspective, complete in box Game Boy Color Link's Awakening DX, $91.54. So you're saving $30 against the complete in box for the DX, but you're paying equal price to the original Game Boy.
Or I cannot buy it and save 90.
Yeah, I agree with John. How much is the DX loose?
DX loose is $25 for the NA and $37 for the PAL.
What the hell is up with the retro
Zelda,
collecting?
dude.
Must have just gotten big.
It's
in
Zelda
Europe
and
recently.
Nintendo. That's all it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, that's the second game that the PAL, the EU region and Australian region that's gone up for more. So it must have got more popular.
Well, this
there.
is a weird point here. So, DX for PAL, $37.91 loose, $59.18 complete, versus the NA 25 loose 91 complete.
Well, it makes me wonder if price charting is keeping track of the American version of eBay or North American version versus, overseas.
Yeah, if they're actually looking at like eBay UK and things like that, because there's different eBay stores for each part.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's even an EA
off chance that one of the 25 of you listening works at price charting,
26.
let us know.
We have 26 subscribers now, Ryan.
And they love you all.
Yes,
from
we
deep
do.
within their coin purse.
So kind of getting back on track, as far as what we would pay, I would probably pay for a new Zelda like that, or a remake, really. I'd pay $40. I wouldn't pay any more than that.
I was about to say the same thing. As soon as I saw it, I was really expecting a $40 price tag. And as soon as I saw that they were going to charge a full $60, I was just like, this is a bit much. I don't even...
Why?
Well, I know how much goes into it, but it's just one of those things of I'm just not willing to pay $60 for a game that I could buy on a Game Boy.
It's not like it's just some up-resed game. Have you seen the graphics on it?
Yeah, I have, and I've seen it completely redone, but I didn't ask Nintendo to make that game. I have it on the Game Boy.
No, you didn't ask them to remake it, but I mean, like, don't you think the developers deserve, like, the same kind of introductory price as any other game on the platform that's like a full first party release?
Well, it's not my fault their leadership wants to go ahead and make, remakes of games versus new titles. I mean, that's really where I'm at. I mean, it was on Game Boy. If I wanted to play it, I would have played it on Game Boy. Do I want to play it on the Switch? Maybe. Am I willing to pay $60? No. I'll pay $40 when it goes down in price. But it's not something I was looking to say, oh, wow, I want to buy Link's Awakening on the Switch. Like, I need to have this. Like, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not like I've been wishing for this my whole life to come out on a new console.
Okay, so here's a question, and James, I want to hear your opinion on this too. So the way that it seems that you're looking at this is that you think that the buying the price of the game new is... really, who's that for? Who's the person that pays the day one price? Somebody who's just biting at the bit to get at it?
Nintendo fanboys in general are the ones that are going to be immediately going towards that title. Anybody that's like a huge Zelda fan may be like, yeah, I need to play it. I'm not a huge Zelda fan, so this game isn't exactly meant for me per se. I have it on the Game Boy, so it goes back into the conversation of, I already have it. If I want to play it, I'll play the original. I wasn't clamoring for a remake of a game. I would rather see kind of what they did. Super Mario Maker 2. That's a fantastic title to bring onto the Switch, given what the Switch's capabilities are. A new Donkey Kong title versus a rehash of Tropical Freeze. Those are all different titles that are different, things that they could have released. A new Donkey Kong title would be fantastic. I would have looked forward to something like that over, we're remaking a Game Boy game. That's just where I am on it.
See, I think that with the cool art style that they're going for in this, and also trying to remake something a little more obscure, maybe not something that you ever really were expecting to come out, I think that if you're like me, sometimes paying that day one price is a way to make your voice heard. Like, if you're going to vote with your money... and you're willing to pay the full price for the game, that's encouragement for the industry to push in that direction.
Which is why I'm not buying it.
Okay, well, pardon me. First off, let me say, well said, James. Your John's little tirade over there when I was supposed to be talking.
Quiet, you.
Eat my coin purse.
That's Ryan's coin purse. Thank you very much.
Every time they say coin purse, I make more coins.
Coin purse.
Coin purse, right? Hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag could be a sponsor. Anyhow, majority of what John said, I agree with. Let me ask you this: how much was? I almost said another Metroid 2 remake. Boy, that didn't cost anything. The guy just worked his ass off for 10 years on that. Nintendo. Anyhow, how much was Metroid 2 remake on the 3DS when it came out?
I want to say it was $40, right?
Yeah, pretty sure it was 40. See, I feel $40 is a fair price point for that game. I was actually expecting a Skyward Sword re-release. I really was expecting it. It was kind of interesting if I would have the option to not have to play with the Joy-Cons or Wiimote and other shit and actually play with a controller. But, and it's not too late for Nintendo to do this, but if they would have also squeezed Oracle of Season and Oracle of Ages into the Link's Awakening remake, then I would say, yes, that is worth the $60 right there. Now, as far as you were asking, you know, do I support the industry or certain companies' games? If it's a game series I'm very passionate about, fuck yes, I do. I pre-order. I pre-ordered Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. I paid for Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. I will eventually pay for Dark Souls Remastered, even though I've already beat it 3 times, and I actually probably will never open it and play it, but still, because I love From Software's games. I will be buying Sekiro, etc. However, with Nintendo, it's way different. It's not just a majority of it is the fanboys, but there's also a bit of an internet virtue signaling culture when it comes to video games and things like that. And a lot of them are just kids on social media, posturing and things like that. Oh, I got to have this, I got to have that, or oh God, please take my money, because that's what the kids are into nowadays. But one thing I am curious about, and I think we all agree upon, I noticed a lot of people bitching and bashing the art direction for the Link's Awakening remaster. And I have to say, after looking at it, my immediate impression was that it looks like they actually wanted to stay as true to the Game Boy graphics as possible. And not only that, even though they are cartoonish and cutesy and simplistic, they are very detailed and rather beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's something I can agree on too, man. When I saw the artwork in that trailer that we watched a little earlier, I thought that was fantastic. It's definitely, that's the type of gameplay and artwork I look for in a title of that nature, especially a remake from a Game Boy.
Just not at full price.
Just not at full price.
Yeah, and another thing I would also point out to you, Ryan, is that even though John and I have our sneaky ways of getting our games for as cheap as possible.
Not stealing.
Free
technically.
$350. Yep.
$350.
We get it from the Loch Ness Monster.
That's right. Nintendo games, first party Nintendo games, rarely come down in price. Even when they go on sale, the sale will range from anything ridiculous like, oh, this is on sale for a whole $3 cheaper, to, oh, you know, Mario Kart Deluxe DX, you know, that's already been released and being re-released again. It's $10 off, even though it's been out for, 2 years or so, something like that.
Well, but I mean, it's not like, so when you need a lamp, you go to the lamp store and you wait for the new lamps to drop in price, or you just kind of go into the lamp store and you accept the fact that that lamp is worth this amount of money, and the people who created that lamp, you know, that's kind of the value that went into it.
Here's the thing about lamps, right?
Like, I understand the depreciation of games over time, but what is it about games that necessarily loses value? Like, is a game less good 5 months later? Like, 5 months after a game comes out, it's not as good of a game, so it's not worth as much?
It's just Nintendo.
Like,
as
a collector who tries to appreciate value as much as possible, immediately looking at the depreciation of value, isn't that kind of contrary to your goals of being a good collector?
Our values in collecting aren't necessarily the financial components of it. We don't collect because we want it to be super valuable down the road. At least my concern isn't that. It's on the being able to play those games and the ability to have them in my collection at hand at any point. So while I'm excited at times when I see the value of my collection, I don't necessarily, like, if my collection right now dropped in value, technically a couple grand, it's not the end of the world because I still have all those games on hand. So if I'm picking up a copy of Zelda for, you know, say its release is $60 and I'm not willing to pay $60, I'm willing to pay $40. That's really what I'm going to pay for that game. I will not touch it if it's above $40. Like, that's my standpoint on it. And from a collection standpoint, it's not to say that I'm hoping it diminishes in value and it's, you know, contradictory to my collecting and everything else. It's saying I'm not willing to pay that much money for that game, regardless of how much time was put into development.
So you don't think video games are worth $60?
Oh, I think there are games worth $60. I pre-ordered, like James, Sekiro, and I'm excited for that game to come out. I'm waiting for my, you know, statue and my letter opener and everything else that comes with it, and I'm super stoked.
So at what point does it become worth it? So, like, where is the full new release? Like, is it how excited you are for the game? Or is it what part of buying a new game versus collecting a game excites you to exceed that threshold you have set for yourself?
Okay, I kind of already got what you were getting at. So, say for instance, things I personally would look at component-wise of why I would spend the $60 for that game is obviously reputation. So, it's Nintendo. Okay, cool. So, let's eliminate some things that would be decisions for myself and possibly John that are not common to the core audience that game is being aimed at. I beat Link's Awakening 2 or 3 times when I was a kid. So I've already played the game quite a bit, enjoyed it quite a bit, and I know it's one of the better Zeldas. So I've already played it. That takes away some of the excitement there. 2, I know it's a short game. It's a Game Boy game. You're not going to get a lot of content. I'm not saying it's not a lot of fun to play, but you're going to go through it pretty quick, and I'm fairly confident in that because you can just look at Nintendo's track record. So that's another reason I don't feel it's quite worth $60. Also, from our standpoint, and those who have been with us for a long time will remember when we were formerly the Collectors Against Video Game Inflation before it became the Game Deflators for short, is things like that. Buying that $60 game, it sets a precedent, and Nintendo themselves, they're kind of like Nike, or I would say Nike in a way. Nike does make good products, but you're paying a lot fucking more for those shoes than you realistically should. Now, granted, you know you're going to get something good. It's going to retain its value. People resell their Nike used sneakers all the time, which is hilarious when you think about it, but it's the truth. They do. And same thing with Nintendo, but there's also that cult status surrounding it that gives it and helps it retain value when it's unnecessary. And as far as us, you asked John and you asked me, do we collect? Do we care so much about the value? Not really. When I started collecting, most of the games honestly weren't worth dirt. They weren't, for the most part, oftentimes worth the $5 I was paying for them. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I actually have been wanting things to go back that direction for years now. And lately they have started slowly slinking back down in that direction. So anyhow, as far as like a good example of like a somewhat rare game that's always been strange to me that's so expensive is Fire Emblem on the GameCube. I've had it for years and years and years because I bought it long time ago before I started officially collecting, just because I was like, hey, I would like to play that, and I got busy with life, never got to it. Start collecting, and it's pretty much been $89 to $100+ complete in box ever since then. It's just one of the weirdest things that holds value. Chrono Trigger is another one I have that generally stays around $70. Hopefully is back down to around 40 or so. Now, I would say like this. I never thought Chrono Trigger was that great of an RPG. I had Final Fantasy VI the year before, so that kind of set the standard. Yeah, I know I'm about to get mauled here, folks.
Oh, man, I'm right with you. I actually prefer Chrono Cross over Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, me too. I like Chrono
I've
Cross.
never played it.
Another Ryan's never played.
I will speak up for the internet and say that you're both bastards.
Fair enough.
Well, the internet's a bastard too.
Chrono Trigger is one of those games. There's actually plenty of copies of it around there, and the reason it stays up in value is honestly cult hype. Same thing with fucking Earthbound. Earthbound, I can definitely say there's more parts to appreciate as I was an adult, and with the risk of a brick come flying through the window. I beat it when I was a kid, and I thought it was fucking boring and tedious. But also I get as a kid, I didn't catch like all the humor and the inside jokes and some of the more twisted things. But we are getting a little long in the tooth, so let's move on to, we were starting to say earlier, since John and Ryan took it like a champ with their crappy game challenge, I actually picked out a decent game for them.
So this week we had the luxury of playing Dynamite Cop.
And beating it.
At least mission 1.
No, I think that was literally the whole game, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that was the whole game.
Okay, yeah, the whole game. So we beat Dynamite Cop for the Sega Dreamcast, developed by AM1, published by Sega, and it was released in the arcades in 98, followed up by the Dreamcast in 99. And it's a 3D action beat-em-up game where you run around. It's 2-player, you pick up items, you do, punch kicks and jumps around the stage.
Pick up legs of beef and machine guns and chairs and
poles,
anything, mannequin heads and anything you can think of to beat your enemies down. It's actually pretty cool.
Fresh baguettes.
Fresh baguettes. Yeah, that's true. We did have baguettes.
So It was a pretty fun game. I mean, it was definitely one of those things like we trounced through it. I mean, I can see how it would have cost us what, like $5 to play this game in an arcade, probably.
Honestly, not even that. I think at the rate we went, what did we die? Like maybe
probably four times each.
No, not even that. I think I died twice.
Yeah, you guys blazed through it in like 30 minutes. It's about a 1 hour game, and you guys.
I guess we kind of beat the hell out of each other at the end a lot.
Yeah, and that probably took up about 5 minutes of our time. So I'd say probably about 20 to 25 minutes we beat that game. And I thought it was fun, dude.
I mean, there were other missions we hadn't gotten to. You probably have to unlock them, and you probably just didn't have any data on your.
Is that the case, man? It did say mission 1.
It's a possibility. There might have been DLC missions.
We did the one where we fought the weird seashell-headed cyborg pirate.
That was just weird.
And the giant octopus that didn't have 8 legs and somehow got inside the ship.
And then the random boy, girl, I'm not sure, that was stuck in a suitcase and then randomly appeared and said, all right, now that you saved me, let's see who's stronger and I'll give you all the gold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to pin you guys to a fight to the death and see how this goes. And then she started straddling me. That was
this
really
game,
weird too.
I would say, I think that we both were pretty positive on it. I mean, for an inflation deflation off the back of a crappy game challenge, I think we could have done way worse. But most of the ratings for this game are not good. It's ranging from 4s to 7s out of 10s with a couple of D's in there.
Well,
a few F's.
The game was super short, so that's one thing. I honestly had no flipping idea what the hell was going on in that game. The entire time we were playing, I'm like, I'm beating people up, and I'm throwing mannequins at people and shooting them and throwing baguettes at other people. Like, it was all over the place, in all honesty. And it's just obviously an arcade beat 'em up. There's no story or plot or anything tied to it. So you're a couple cops.
I mean, there was something going on there, but it didn't really have time to tell you about it.
Yeah, that I would agree on that.
You had to punch crab people in the face and then beat up shark people and fight some wolf people in the middle.
And hit them with a leg of beef.
You hear that, folks? These ungrateful bastards didn't like the good game I picked for them.
Which is funny.
It was a great game
it's too
to
late
play
now,
through.
We can't backpedal on this, Ryan. I didn't like it that much. I actually preferred Ghostbusters too.
You know what? I'm honestly
you take that back, sir.
I'm gonna agree because I felt like Ghostbusters 2 had more potential. Like, I would have rather spent more time playing Ghostbusters to get further to see what else was in there.
This whole week backfired on James. He was like, I'm going to give him something good to play, and it ended up being our crappy game
I still had
challenge.
a lot of fun. I'm not saying it was bad, but the difficulty and reputation of Ghostbusters intrigues me.
Yeah, over what was essentially 20 minutes to just blaze through a game, we were like, that was it? Like, okay.
You're saying you didn't enjoy the random silliness of smacking enemies with
I enjoyed that.
It was fun.
100%.
It was fun, but the thing for me is that Ghostbusters was on a platform that I don't have a lot of experience with.
You don't have a lot of experience with either of those platforms.
No, I know. I don't have a lot of experience with the Dreamcast, but that looked visually just like House of the Dead or what's the Time Crisis? Like all of those arcade shooters and stuff. I mean, it has that exact same look and play to it. It's exactly what I expected it to be since the moment we booted it up.
That 1999
So that predictability level of it is kind of what drove it down for me, even though it was fun and enjoyable and we had a decent time playing it.
So I would say, first off, congratulations, guys. I appreciate your input, and with that, y'all have inspired me. Your next crappy game challenge will be
more Ghostbusters.
Actually, it's
3.
going to be Mortal Kombat Special Forces on the PS1.
Do I have that?
Yes, you do.
I do?
Yep. The one with Jax. Not the semi-tolerable one with Sub-Zero.
I'm checking
and
my
if you
VG
don't,
Collect right
I will
now.
get an ISO so y'all can play it.
I actually kind of hope I do have it.
So hold on. Let me ask you this, Ryan. So you blazed through the game in about 25 minutes. You said it was kind of mediocre, just general beat 'em up. It was okay. Now, let me point out to you a couple things. That is a first-party title. That's a Sega first-party title. And since it is a Dreamcast game, that would have been $60 back in the day of $50 PS1 games. So you tell me, would you have paid $60 for that back in the day?
Not if it was on Dreamcast, dude. That's what CD burners were made for.
Well, you have to consider
That
before that was a common thing.
Very
And
appropriate response.
at that time, the CD burners were like $200, so it was almost cheaper just to buy the damn game in a Dreamcast. Almost.
I do not have Mortal Kombat Special Forces, but I do have Sub-Zero Mythologies.
I'll get you an ISO Special Forces and set up an emulator.
Damn
for you.
it. We're screwed, Ryan. That's like literally that is that's quite
if
possibly
y'all are
the worst
feeling-
game on the PlayStation.
Oh, if you're feeling froggy, y'all can do a back-to-back challenge. You can do Sub-Zero Mythologies and then Special Forces, and I'll get a
I
vomit
played
poke
the
it for you.
Sub-Zero one.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it was great, but not that god-awful.
Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely emulate a couple games for the next few weeks while you and I get unpacked.
But how much is Dynamite Cop going for complete in box, which is what we have here?
Dynamite Complete, $44. Loose, $26.
God, really?
Yeah.
I think I paid $6 for that game
I
5
paid
years
like
ago.
$3 for my copy before I sold my Dreamcast collection.
I bought that in the game store I worked in for that price, dude. Why?
It was $20-something, like $25 back then when you bought it.
No, it wasn't even that, dude, because we were selling it at like $10 at that time.
Dude, when I got my copy
discount.
at $3, it was like $25, and that was back in maybe 2014, 2015.
Unless we mispriced it. Man, that is crazy. 40, how much? 45? Ryan?
It is
Pointers?
44 complete.
That's nuts.
I think I'm about to have a heart attack. Jeez, man.
Right?
Are like
So-
Dreamcast games on a rise or something now?
So Ryan is saying that he is the reason that Sega couldn't support the Dreamcast, because he wouldn't have bought that $60 game.
Oh,
and
I never
supported
had a
them.
Dreamcast.
You hear about Sega gauges?
You see, that even more reason. Now we know he's truly guilty. He didn't even buy a Dreamcast.
I truly did not support Sega whatsoever my whole life.
Hey, I didn't either, man. I actually just had hand-me-downs for Sega Genesis consoles.
Oh, I bought a used Dreamcast.
I
And
got
also bought
a
whole lot of
brand new
bootleg games.
Game Gear from my grandparents, and only the games that came with it, and never bought anything else for it except for hundreds of AA batteries.
Check out Mr. Coin Purse here with his brand new game consoles that come in a box without a pawn shop sticker on them when he was a kid and shit, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've actually got a Game Gear complete in box, too, myself. I think I have 3 Game Gears sitting here. 2 of them are paperweights, though.
All right, first episode we have where it doesn't resolve into John like, oh, I've actually got this. You know, we should do a giveaway. So what is next in the news, sir?
Well, next in the news is, I guess, what we're going to be playing next week, which is that already decided for us? Are we going to try to get this out of the way next week while you're all still packed up?
I don't know. Let's do this. Let's get 2 Super Nintendo titles, because we haven't played a Super Nintendo game in a while, right? James, pick 2 titles, and we can either emulate or play if we have it on hand, and we'll let the users on Facebook decide which one we play.
That sounds pretty good. We also have...
Not a crappy game.
No, this is not a crappy game. We also do have coming up the... Blank has never played, for instance. The very first one actually is going to be Ryan. So we could say Ryan's never played Resident Evil 2?
Not true anymore, because I am at least halfway through Leon A on RE2 Remake.
Not the same.
That's not the same. Not the same.
I know. But I've played a iteration of Resident Evil 2 now. But I do, like we mentioned earlier, I do have the copy of the PS1 from James. So I will be playing that, and I'm
That's a
very
loner.
excited to play it
I'll need a
on my
deposit.
PSX with the little mini screen.
That
And
thing
it's
is
coin
complete.
purse. So one thing I do have to bring up, though, you still need to beat not Xenogears. Jeez.
Lots of stuff.
No, your annual challenge that we were doing. Our
yeah,
new
all of
games
us do.
resolution.
New games resolution. Yeah, but I told everybody that I would beat Red Dead before I even started the first
Dude,
one.
you're not going to beat it. You got to beat the new games resolution. Red Dead's not your new games resolution.
Dude, it's still February. I got 10 months to do that.
10 months later.
10 months later, I'm really going to play this game now.
Yeah, I still have
Hey,
to
I gotta
actually
play
get off my
3
ass.
games.
I've got to get off my ass and actually try to finish To the Moon.
Well, one of them I love, and the other one is the one that I've always wanted to play. And the first one's only 6 hours, so hopefully I'll be good.
Yeah, you got Two of the Moon, and I've got Suikoden 2. I think I've got the longest stretch out of all of us here. So
Yeah, but
you
it's
definitely
so
do.
good.
Oh, I know, man. I've heard some good stuff.
At least the first 20 hours that I played.
But before I forget, we actually, since we're going to try to alternate the crappy game challenge and the, blank has never played, we do have the next runner up, and perhaps all of y'all can help Ryan and John figure out one for me. But the next one up is going to be John has never played Super Metroid.
What? Say what?
Right? Holy shit. He has no idea what he's been missing out on, and it's not Coin Purse either, folks.
I have certainly not been missing out on Coin Purse.
So the general rules is it's actually, as you can tell, the exact opposite of the crappy game challenge. It's one of those, holy shit, you've never played this classic or this amazing game. It'd be like saying, holy shit, you've never played Street Fighter, or holy shit, you've never played Super Mario Brothers 3. Things like that.
If you haven't played Super Mario Bros. 3, you might just want to stop playing games altogether.
If you haven't
Or
played
start.
Or start.
Start.
Because
That
you've
is
been
a
missing
great
out
place
on
to
a
start.
lot.
That's true. That's very true.
That
But if
would
you haven't
be
played
an
it yet, you should
amazing
go away.
start. Yeah. So
Spoilers.
I've been around for quite some time now, surprisingly enough. So I've gotten to play quite a few games.
Back
so,
in his day,
yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
James remembers when a game was $4.
Bottles and James, thanks you for your support.
Hey, no, he distinctly said they were all $5.
$5 games. Cheaper than the
$3.50.
damn Subway footlong at the time.
Continue, James.
Anyhow, so if all of you want to throw together suggestions for things you think I haven't actually played that you feel is a must-play classic, help John and Ryan figure it out, because I get the feeling the next couple of weeks of my life are going to consist of, played it, nope, beat it, that game was god-awful, and so
Ryan.
on and so forth.
Do I have a box over there for my SNES Classic still?
Yes.
Okay, grab it really quick.
There we
Let's
go.
do this now.
Star Fox 2 doesn't count because it wasn't released at the
Oh,
time.
damn it. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's not what I was going to say. Oh. Did you, Yoshi's Island? Yeah, you did
Yeah, I
play
played
Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, I just was talking about it last
Ghosts
night.
and Ghouls you beat.
Ghouls and Ghosts, I can't beat the first level. Nick and you bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Screw that.
We're going to make that a drunken game challenge.
I would say Super Mario RPG, but that'd be a dumb one.
Beat it.
Yeah, I know. Kirby's Dream Course?
Beat it.
Jesus, man.
Beat that only a couple of years ago, too. Played with my buddy Cameron. Shout out.
I recall that. Punch Out.
Beat it. Super Punch Out, to correct yourself, sir. All 3 circuits.
Jesus, man. Yeah, because the other ones I'm
Come on,
looking at here.
Just give me the box. Let me ruin your day for you. Come
Oh,
on.
you beat all of them. Earthbound's the only one you haven't beat.
Beat it.
Wait, oh yeah, you
You
did.
didn't hear me earlier?
Kirby Superstar, 8 games in 1.
Played it. Haven't beat it.
Okay, well then there's literally nothing here. I'm just looking at this and knowing.
Oh,
that you
yeah.
have
Good
played
luck
everything.
finding one on there I haven't at least played.
Oh yeah, exactly.
F-Zero, everything. Oh, shit. Let's see here. Mario RPG, beat it. Mario World, beat it multiple times. Contra 3, played it. Don't care about beating it. Link to the Past. Oh, fuck. Yeah, beat it multiple times. Beat Kirby's Dream Course. Played Star Fox, never beat it. Yoshi's Island, I swear to God, maybe if I can play it all the way on mute, I would beat it. Mario Kart, duh. Final Fantasy 6 is my favorite Final Fantasy. Secret of Mana, Kirby Superstar, blah, blah. Castlevania 4. Ooh, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, a classic. Yeah, no, you're SOL. You picked very poorly, sir.
Well, on this one I have. Well,
Yeah, you only picked a mini version of the console with all of the most popular games ever made for it.
Specifically from my age of 9 years and up, sir.
yeah. No, I'm well aware. I've played a good majority of those outside of maybe.
Can we
Super
get an
Metroid.
epic fail? Like a Wu-Tang fail? Can we get one for John?
Wu-Tang fail!
Yeah, we're just gonna have to do that from now on, man. We'll find you a game. But okay, what are
Please
the
don't
two
sue us.
what are 2 Super Nintendo games that we're gonna give people to choose?
For the crappy game challenge or the good game challenge?
Good game
we
challenge.
could give it some thought.
Well, you've already got good games each. He's got Resident Evil 2 and you've got Super Metroid.
Yeah, but this is for our next inflation deflation.
Oh, the inflation deflation. You want 2 Super Nintendo games for that.
Yes.
Whew. Okay, Super Adventure Island 2 and... Hang on. I'm thinking. Gears in my head are turning.
Contra. Castlevania.
Actually, I need Ryan to verify this is still a semi-expensive game. Should be Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems.
I can guarantee you that's got a price point that's higher than $20.
It damn sure ought to be. If not, then I'll just have to think of another one.
It is 90, 72 complete in box, 43, 46 loose.
Woo!
Whoa!
Super Adventure Island 2.
Okay, so PAL version loose is 57. PAL version complete in box is 353.70.
Yeah, somebody just sold it on eBay for that much.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we'll have to investigate that. How much is Super Adventure Island 2 going for? I'll tell you right now, I bought it from the flea market back in the $5 days for $3.50.
I think I have Super
Was it
Adventure
really
Island
the
too.
$5 days then?
Every now and then it was less than $5 days.
It is loose 61.74, complete in box 172.75.
That has actually gone up quite a
Yeah,
bit. I'm
it has.
surprised.
So, all right, those are our two. We'll write those down. We'll put a poll, and we'll have people vote on it.
Absolutely, and those are two pretty decent games, so I don't think you guys will be too disappointed. What else was left?
I think that's it.
That's it.
All right,
This was us rambling in our episode 23 of the Game Deflators Podcast.
We talked a lot about Ryan's coin purse and how he helped kill the Dreamcast.
Yep. Burned a lot of games, apparently.
Yeah.
Hashtag FBI.
Hashtag never owned a Dreamcast.
That's true. Well, exactly. You didn't need to because you just played burned copies. There's a lot of FBI things on this one, I think. Okay.
Please don't arrest us.
Hashtag. So,
Hashtag I get the top bunk.
I I think we're good for this week. That is correct. I see nods all around.
Yeah, I got nothing left to say, I don't think. I think we covered about everything except for Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk more about that next week.
Yeah, I was about to say, of all my bashing I do of Nintendo, thank you guys for finally doing something fucking smart.
Exactly. Well, next week I won't be joining you guys, obviously. I'll be out of town again. So I guess the listeners will have our 12 listeners that join us.
It'll be a
every week.
nice, good break for everybody from John.
That's
I'm going to look forward to
probably
us
true.
gaining 5 to 10 listeners just based on that fact.
Exactly.
I
I'm
would
going to spend my
probably-
own money to promote that episode.
I would anticipate that. I would look for nothing less. All right. So you guys got it next week. And I'm John.
I'm Ryan.
Oh, yeah, I'm James. And get the fuck off my lawn already.
And we are
The
Game Deflators.
24, baby.